The case for the C-suite. You want to know if you're ready for it and what you might be able to do to get ready for it. I enjoyed my C-level responsibilities immensely. There was tremendous pressure. It was, however, rewarding, far beyond any expectation I ever had. The relationships that I formed under that kind of a pressure lasted a lifetime, and that's the nicest thing I took from it. Those folks have proven to stick with me for the long term, and we are very, very close. I was told by one of my mentors, however, early in my career, this statement. He said, if you aspire to be in the C-suite, you had better have a heart of service, because if you don't, you will probably hurt an awful lot of people. Now, to be honest, can't tell you that at the time I heard that I actually understood what he meant, but I certainly do understand that now. Being frank, the C-suite requires a different and necessary level of responsibility, and with that comes pressure. So like most things in life, if we want to be good at it, we must prepare for it. To be able to think strategically does not occur overnight. It takes exposure to the strategic to be able to do it well in time. So in discussing preparation for the C-suite, there is no one-size-fits-all answer to this kind of preparation. Every business needs something uniquely different at that level to thrive and survive. That's understandable. But there are a few ways for you to be able to gauge in your current environment where you are in your preparation and what you might need to do to get started. So here are a few things to look for, and then we're going to talk about some things that you can do. First, we're going to talk about the what, and then we're going to talk about the how. Intentional business skills training focused on that next C-level is very important. There's a different kind of competency associated with the C-level, and you need to see what that's like. If you can get into meetings where C-level discussions are being held and watch it, learn from it, ask questions as a result, would be a great way to start building skill and familiarity with that part of what you'll need to know. But if you break it down into two distinct parts of what you will need to be able to do to be competent at that next level, they're actually pretty simple. One is, do you know how to be able to execute functionally at the next level? And the second one is, are you able to lead appropriately at that next level? So given that, how can you get the skills that the C-suite demands? Larger businesses generally have training programs designed to groom and perhaps weed out potential C-level candidates. As I recall, larger companies who have those kinds of programs typically require a sponsor, a C-level sponsor, to enter those kinds of programs. But what if your company does not have this kind of a program? Here are some things you can do to help yourself and get prepared. First, how about going to your boss and letting your boss know that you have a desire to learn the skills and get the experience to eventually get to the C-suite? And can you attend some meetings with him in the back of the room to listen and learn, and maybe ask that C-level boss of yours to provide some mentoring and some coaching to you one-on-one. The second thing, look for C-level mentors outside of your business. They're actually a bit more plentiful than you might think. I'll talk more about that later. And third, look for mentors and those who have strengths where you are weak. And this can be difficult because you will have to be very honest about what your weaknesses are. And you may have to go to some people to get other perspectives on what your weaknesses are. However, I can tell you that if you do this, the dividends for you for having done this are very, very high. I'm going to describe for you how I found my mentors, and this may give you some ideas that may help you. Two of my mentors were customers of mine, C-level customers of mine. I stumbled on two CEO mentors at church. The best corporate attorney at one of my first jobs ended up mentoring me for 20 plus years, and we're very close friends to this day. I was introduced to private equity firms during the course of my career, and those folks helped me understand that money world. And let me just tell you, you need to understand the money world if you're going to be in the C-suite. And perhaps surprisingly, one of my mentors was actually a competitor. We actually coached and mentored each other. There were also companies that I moved on from early in my career, but I did keep the C-level relationships even after I left. And in maintaining those relationships, I had a place to go back to, a comfortable place to go back to and ask questions as I needed to ask those questions. All that said, however, I would say this. My most impactful mentors were those who were in the C-level at the Fortune 500 companies. They just had a level of competency and had seen pressure to have to deliver on that level of competency that I actually never saw in my career, but they had a tremendous impact on me coming from the large company environment. So in conclusion, I hope this helps you and gives you some idea of how to get started. As I said, no one size fits all for this. But if you would like to have a conversation with me about that and exchange ideas, click below for a free session with me. I would be delighted to do that. Also, join our Bulletproof business community. This is a forum of shared wisdom and experience from our C-suite and business leader members who have formed or are in the process of forming what we call bulletproof businesses. As a first step to joining our community, click below to sign up for our newsletter. Enjoy.